This is Eminem Radio, Eminem Radio. Turn it up, turn it up. Here we go, here we go. Eminem Radio, Eminem Radio. Turn it up, turn it up. Here we go, here we go.
Welcome back to your number one source of inspiration for this generation. You already know it's Eminem Live Radio. This is the show where we exist to point people to Jesus through motivating music, sharing stories, challenging culture, and promoting positivity. Y'all, thank you so much for tuning in.
Shout out to y'all for tuning in, man. Listen, we really appreciate everybody tuning in, rocking with your girls, whether you're day one, whether this is your first time tuning in.
Yeah.
Listen, we just introduced a new segment, Don't Be Salty, which we did before this break. And Meesa and I were in an interesting space of kind of just redefining what Eminem Live Radio is, testing out new things, new segments and things like that. And we're really enjoying making that new segment. So let us know what you guys think. Let us know, comment, be able to comment and tell us on social media. Let's let us know your thoughts on that new segment, Don't Be Salty. We would love to hear you guys' thoughts.
Yeah.
Meesa, it's a new week. Wait, but how was your Mother's Day?
Oh, Mother's Day. Mother's Day was really good for me.
Okay.
It was very, very good for me. And let me tell you all that I did. Number one, if you don't know, I work at a church. I'm the First Impressions Coordinator at Stockbridge Community Church. And we had, for Mother's Day weekend, 4 services. Our regular Sunday is 3 services, but we add an additional service on Saturday at around 5 p.m. And it was already expected for it to be a busy weekend. It was going to be a lot. And while it was a lot on that actual Sunday, we weren't having youth service that night, which I volunteer also very, very consistently. And I just simply wanted to be home and do nothing. And ultimately, the number one thing on my list to do was to take a nap. I did all those things. And it felt so great.
Mother's Day was relaxing because you did nothing.
I did nothing. And it's interesting because I saw a post that I think another church posted, but it was like a list of things that moms don't want from Mother's Day. Like, she does not want a mug that says mom because she already knows that she's a mom. Cliche jewelry. She doesn't want for you to ask her what she wants to do because now she has to do all the planning when you should have already been proactive and created plans for her because now she has to find babysitters and do all these different types of things. It was a lot of things that were listed of what mom does not want to do. But number one thing that I think moms want is peace and quiet, rest, a nap, a clean house. No dishes in the sink, and it's not to say that all moms are like that, but it's interesting because while we were at church on Sunday, Mother's Day, I asked a lot of mom friends or just, people that go to the church that are mothers that I know of that are mothers. I asked them, like, you got any plans for today? A lot of them said no.
Love that.
A lot of them said no.
I saw, I was on Threads and I saw Jackie Hill Perry say, all I want for Mother's Day is to do nothing.
Nothing.
I honestly, wow, not thinking about it, to the woman who does everything for everybody, though some moms, the biggest gift you could give them is giving them the free space to just sit around.
Do nothing at all.
Not have to worry about a meal. Not have to make plans.
Yes, or if you want to do something as far, like I said, not all moms are the same. There are some moms that would love a surprise dinner at her favorite restaurant. But if you know Mother's Day, the restaurants are full. Unless you've already made a reservation
for last Mother's Day.
Yeah, months ago. But sometimes we have such busy lives that we don't even think and are proactive to even make a reservation for something coming up big like Mother's Day.
And then even also perspective could be like, maybe mom doesn't want to get up and have to get ready.
Right. I don't want to put on no makeup.
Maybe she doesn't want to sit in the car and go on a drive. Like sometimes it's relaxing just kicking your feet up, eating something at the house, binge watching something, just being outside, being with your family, soaking in your family, opposed to doing for your family, soaking them in.
Now, that is another thing that I did. I did invite the mothers in my family, even you. Like, you're a mother to my kids. I had everybody come over to the house, and we ate and just had a great time, laughed, joked around, like watched TV, watched the girls dance around and stuff. And it was just so fulfilling.
Yeah.
So relaxing. And I would take 1,000 Mother's Days like that. I don't have to have extravagant gifts. I don't have to have everything over the top. I just need to be able to rest.
And backstory on Meesa saying things being over the top, because that's literally what we used to do. Literally what we used to do.
Mother's Day was such
Now,
a
hindsight,
work up.
it was fun though.
Yeah.
It was very fun. It was like we would do different themes for every Mother's Day. Like one during COVID when we couldn't go anywhere, we did something called Spa Mama, and we had turned down the lights, put on lo-fi music, and we gave our moms manicures, pedicures, facials, and it was very relaxing. The most recent one we did was Mama Fest, where everyone had to come up with a song to remake about moms and like sing them to our moms and things like that. And what were some other ones?
Do you remember the Mother Loving Cafe?
The Mother Loving Cafe.
So, oh my goodness, y'all. So we did this thing called the Mother Loving Cafe.
And it was inspired by that episode of The Proud Family.
Where they had it was like a jazz
They were doing
club,
poetry.
and they were doing poetry and spoken word. My husband, Chemo, he plays the upright bass. So we had the whole 9 yards. The lights were down. Everybody wore black.
Yes, bro.
We had
Everyone
sunglasses.
Everyone had to snap.
Everyone had to snap. But you had to write a very heartfelt spoken word or poetry piece
For your mom.
that was in the audience.
I think that was the best one.
It was
I think that was
so
the best one.
funny.
But we still
So
had to
fun.
say that was very over the top.
It was.
And we made dinner. We did with a whole production.
Yeah.
And we made dinner.
But I will say this. Even though we did all those things, I still feel like the moms, because I wasn't a mom at that time, the
yeah,
moms still didn't have to do anything.
Yeah,
Because
yeah.
we prepared everything. We prepared
Yeah.
the dinner, the entertainment. And I felt like they also did appreciate it because it was heartfelt. Like it was a poem that Chemo wrote for his mother and she wasn't able to physically be there, so we like FaceTimed her in, and like even the same thing for our mothers. We had our cousins involved and everything. So while it was an over the top thing to show the person that does the most much care,
The moms had to get ready.
That's
and
true.
Show up by a certain time.
That's true.
You know what I'm saying? So like there was still participation there, and even like not saying that because even though the moms didn't play a part in that, it was still insightful. Just because some moms. I think it's great having a balance. There's a season for everything. You know what I'm saying? Like there's a season to do something and really enjoy and be entertained. And then sometimes it's a season to just like relax.
Just relax and
just
rest.
be. And just, be. So
I hope all the moms out there enjoyed their Mother's Day. And if not, hey, if you're listening and you are a child or you are an adult child to a mother and Mother's Day's coming up next year, these are some good ideas.
Yeah.
Just do something special for your mom, even if it's just cleaning the house. That's a lot. That means a lot. It speaks volumes to moms.
That's good. That's good. So listen, man, we were saying how we're in, like I was saying earlier, I think we're in an interesting space with M&M Live Radio because for those who don't know, Meesa and I have been doing M&M Live Radio since we were
2 months old.
Right. 15 and 17 years old.
Yeah.
So what the show was then and now we're 28 and 30. So what we wanted the show to be then is different from what we want now.
Mm-hmm.
We were inspiring and these charismatic, teenagers and saying, don't give up. You can do it. Keep on pushing.
Haven't been
Keep
through
on
not a
praying.
single
Haven't
lick
been
of life.
through nothing. And then now here it is. I will say we're more seasoned. We aren't seasoned, but we're more seasoned. We're more wise. Mm-hmm. We've experienced more things.
Yes.
And we're trying to figure out, we were trying to do the show the way we used to, and we're just like, this just doesn't feel like us anymore. Mm-hmm. So there were certain things that we just wanted to be more. And one of the things we wanted to be more of was authentic. Well, of course you're going to be inspired because that's just who Meesa and I are.
Yeah.
Just naturally as people. But we want to be more transparent about the lives that we live. Meesa being a mom working at a church, me being an aunt, me being in my 20s a single woman, and Meesa being married. Just things that happen in our day-to-day lives. Mm-hmm. And I told Meesa in our meeting, in our engineer Chemo, he was like, well, you guys have to be more authentic. Like, what do you guys want to talk about? And this has been on my mind a lot. And I was like, I want to talk about the things I regret doing or not doing in my 20s. Mm. Because I saw this thread on Threads, and it was saying the mind shift that happens in 28 and 29 years old before you're 30 is real. And that's truly where I'm at. I just be thinking randomly about, dang, why didn't I do this? Why did I say that? Dang, I wish I would have did this more.
Yeah.
And I've just been really sitting in the things that I wish I would have done and the things I wish I should have. Or like, all things under that umbrella. And I wanted to talk about that. Have you ever thought about, had that ever come across your mind, like now being 30 and like, did you have that like mind shift right before you turned 30? Really?
Right before I turned 30, I think there was probably a moment where in my last month of being 29, I had a little bit of a montage flash in my mind of like all the things that I had done, which made me think, why did I do that? Or I could have done that a whole lot better. Or what could I have done more of in my 20s? And even give me insight because of the hindsight that I received to be like, well, what am I going to do differently in my 30s? So yeah, I definitely had those moments, and it's just so crazy that us being at this age, us having these moments of recollection, because it's like, you think in the moment you're doing everything right that you need to be doing, but growing up, it requires for you to adjust.
Yeah.
Growing up, it always falls back on you learning from a decision that you made and making sure that you don't do that same thing, but adjust, pivot to make it better the next time you do it. So
I was literally telling my little cousins today.
Yeah.
I was like, your 20s are just your teenage years with bills.
Basically.
That's literally what they're
Basically,
at.
yes.
If you are like early 20s or a teenager and you think that when you get to your 20s,
you're in your prime.
You're going to be in your prime.
No,
That's
ma'am.
when all the adult things. No. To some 20-year-olds, it is. But for the majority, no. You're fumbling around and figuring it out.
Yeah. Absolutely.
So I think
and you make your biggest mistakes in
oh,
your
absolutely.
20s.
But it's not entirely a bad thing.
No, it's not. But I feel like, there's been, I know we're going to get into it a little bit later on, but if you're in your 20s or if you know somebody who is in their 20s, please engage in this conversation.
Or even if you're in your 30s, 40s, 50s, 60s.
Please engage and chime in on this conversation, because this is a huge thing that I feel like a lot of people can take away from.
And relate to.
Absolutely. But listen, speaking of something that you can relate to, man, one thing that I can relate to is having a bad moment in my day. Maybe you had a bad 5 minutes. Maybe you had a bad 10 minutes. But listen, don't let that bad 5 minutes, 10 minutes dictate your entire day. We have basically almost a 60-minute show. But if we don't have that much time to turn your day around with positivity, give us 60 seconds. We have an inspiration that we like to call 1-minute inspirations. And my girl Meah has got you covered right here, right now.
So my mentor said this a week ago, and it's really changed my perspective. And this is what she said. As long as you're grateful, you're always winning. She said that the enemy has us so fixed on tangible things that it makes us lose sight of our current growth. I know. It's like truly a mind shift. Now, a lot of times when it comes to life, we only get excited for the things like when we get that job that we've been working so hard for, or the relationship of our dreams, or the vacation we've been anticipating, the house, the car, the check, you name it, it's a win. Now hear me, I'm not disagreeing with any of those things at all. I just also want you to know that the breath that you just took, the free will that you have, you being in your good health, the people in your life who feel like home, the peace of mind that you have, you finally being able to forgive them, you finally apologizing, you finally being able to like what you see in the mirror, you maintaining your boundaries, your joy coming back, all of those things are considered a win. So I want to encourage you to be grateful for your growth. Trust me, you have more wins than you think.
There you have it, your 1-minute inspiration brought to you by my girl Meah. Man, when I tell you, I feel so much lighter, so much more inspired, so much oomph in my life, so much purpose after I hear something like that to pick me up and turn me around and get myself together. Thank you so much, Meah. I know we got some more music for him.
Let's get into it, man. John Keith has a new single called Call featuring Madison Ryan Ward. And here it is right here on You Already Know.
It's Eminem Live Radio. Come right back. My name is Meesa.
And my name is Meah.
Also known as Eminem, and you are listening to your number one source of inspiration for this generation. You already know it's Eminem Live Radio. We are knee deep into such a great conversation about regrets that we might have in our 20s.
Listen, if you are in your 20s, I'm happy you're listening to this show. And then if you are in your 30s, 40s, 50s, 60s, 70s, 80s, shout out to my grandparents. If you are in any age range beyond 20s, we want to know what you guys think. Like, follow us on Instagram and TikTok at MM Live Radio and comment and let us know what your regrets are. Because I'm just curious. I feel like this is a conversation where, a lot of people can relate to. And before the break, I was saying to Meesa just about how a lot of regrets I have, and I'm going to just spew a couple out, and then I want you to chime in and, of course, give your take. One of my regrets that I have in my 20s is not expanding my horizons. One, I don't know why, and maybe you can attest to this. Meesa, I felt like, because mind you, when we were doing Eminem Live Radio, when we were young, so like when we graduated, I didn't go to college, and neither did Meesa, because we were going head on into Eminem Live Radio. And I don't know why I wanted for everyone to think that Eminem Live Radio was how we were making money, because it wasn't. And I did not want to I was so embarrassed, genuinely. I was low-key embarrassed to get a regular job. And we were working with our parents, thank God. They had income for us to be able to work with them. But I would never tell anybody, oh, well, yeah, I do this, and I also do Eminem Live Radio. Also, oh, yeah, y'all do Eminem Live Radio full time? Yeah. No, we was lying. Boy, we was lying. And I don't know why I felt like I couldn't go work at a McDonald's and put that money towards Eminem Live Radio. I don't know why because honestly, if I could go back, I would do that. I would go work, because our mom was paying for our studio time. Praise God for her. Yeah. And when really, I could have worked to do that and then invest in Eminem Live Radio early.
So there was a sense of pride there?
Yes. I don't know why. I always felt so embarrassed saying like, well, yeah, and I also do this. Like, even now, like, I don't mind saying I watch my nieces. I'm a nanny from throughout the week. I work at 116 Life doing I work at Reach doing the 116 Life Sirius XM show, and I work at a gym right now. You know what I'm saying? So it's like, I don't have any shame in doing that, because I live life. I have bills.
But this
you know
is the thing. But I'm wondering, Meah, and I'm asking you this because we're part of the same family. Yeah. I'm wondering if I'm literally thinking in real time about your inspiration that you just shared about celebrating the small things, because they might be small to one person, but it's still a win. A win is a win. Yeah. You know? But we have some family members that every time you turn around, every time you get together, what you got going on? And then depending on what you say, you're going to ask the cousin what they're doing, and they're doing something so much far better, So if you simply were honest and were like, I'm not making any money from Eminem Live Radio, I'm trying to get it off the ground, whatever, or honest,
or that I work here, or I work at Kroger, or I work here.
But the cousin just graduated college, then you're, based upon how they respond to the cousin graduating, that makes you look like your small wins are nothing.
And then even also, people always made us feel so good and complimented us when they would say, oh, you did the red carpet. Oh, you are here. Oh, we see you're still going. So it's like, dang, I don't know if I was trying to live up to this image that really I just made up in my head. So it's kind of like, oh, I thought you were making money doing that. Oh, I didn't know you have to do that energy. You know what I'm saying? So I think that and made me feel embarrassed. And I say that when expanding my horizons was, if I was to work another job, I would do Eminem Live Radio, but also I would take classes on creative writing. I would do online courses, it's the 21st century. We can find things where you don't have to go to school, but you can find masterclass, things like that. And see if I can broaden my ideology or my knowledge on film, because I like film. What it takes to be a director, little things like that. And because because I say all that to say, because I'm thinking of those things now. I've been looking into well, why not why not expand my horizons? If yes, Eminem Live Radio, but I also like this. Let me just see if I know more and can expand my knowledge on it, because I can, and there's nothing wrong with learning more about the things that I like. And I was like, man, if I knew this when I was 20, I would have been so farther along. I would be doing Eminem Live Radio. Then maybe I could have another job, but maybe work at a production company because I expand my knowledge on
Right.
it. So I feel not disheartened. Well, at first I did. I was just like, man, if I wish I did that earlier, and I wish I knew earlier that it's okay. There's nothing. I'm not cheating on Eminem Live Radio because I want to know more about film or more about screenwriting and creative writing. It's just me expanding my horizons. I wish I would have knew that earlier.
I think for me, anything that I regret in my 20s is not asking for help.
Okay, in what way?
Like, and even similar to Eminem Live Radio, there were moments where I felt like I had to have it all together. Like we said before the break, in your 20s, when you hit 25, you're in your prime. You're not
Yeah.
even scratching the
You're not even
surface.
close,
Are you
bro.
kidding me?
You're not even close.
You don't know nothing in your 20s, you know? And I felt like in those moments, because not only if I was in my 20s, but I'm the oldest sibling. So sometimes you're looked to as the guinea pig, and you know, you're the first to experience different things. And I felt like I had to have it all together. And on the outer appearance, I definitely had people bondage that I was dealing with within the
Yeah.
family, and other friends that were kind of like doing some things that were surpassed what I was doing, ideally. And I felt like I couldn't ask for help because I already got it. I already got it together. Eminem Live Radio is doing great. Of course, people are patting you on the back. You've been around for so long. You've been doing your thing. I've been around for so long doing nothing. Nothing. You know, but I wish in my 20s I had a mentor.
Bro, yes.
I wish
Do
I
you
had a
remember
mentor.
the show we had? I remember that was a show topic we had where we were like, do you feel like it's necessary to have a mentor?
Yeah, don't dig up that grave, please. What did we say? Something stupid?
I remember saying, at least, I said, well, no, I mean, I have my mom. And it's like, yes, not negating your mom, not at all. It's just, it is very important to have someone in your life pouring to you.
Yeah.
Because you're not at your prime. At whatever age, there's always someone or somewhere that you want to be. So having someone
Yeah.
pouring to you is essential.
No, but seriously, like even if it's not spiritual,
No.
a spiritual mentor, if there's someone that is in your same industry or has your same skill set that's doing a little bit better than you can always, I think you said this, Meah, there may not be room for everything, but there's always room for improvement. And you can always talk to somebody that's doing a little bit better than you because iron sharpens iron. That's scriptural.
And I feel one thing I learned where how you locate your mentor is if you can look at someone and be like, yeah, I want to be like that. I could be more like that.
Yeah.
You should ask them if they can mentor you. You know what I'm saying? Because that's how I found mine.
I was going to ask you how you found your mentor.
So she's a life coach. We're in this community, this mentoring community called Ladies of Light. Shout out to them. And her name is TK Lee, Takesha Uwebu. And she's a life coach, and she counsels couples and single women, married women. And I know her through the CHH space. But then when she phased out of that and then was diving more into like coaching and things like that, just seeing how she carried herself, how poised she was, how feminine she was, how the woman of God that she was, I was like, yeah, I was like, there's something, I always said, there's something about her that I like that I kind of want to be like. Like,
Okay.
it's something about her. And then when she said that she was offering this community, I said, oh, I have to be a part of that.
Yeah. Yeah. You know, one thing I've even realized from talking with people that are just doing so much more, or just people I really look up to, shout out to my pastor, Pastor Jeff Dawes. He says, never be afraid to ask questions like, who do you know that I should know? You know,
That's
or
good.
never be afraid to simply be a sponge and go to a place or find a mentor or somebody you look up to and just let them talk. Ask about them. Have questions about what they've got going on, and just let them be a faucet pouring into you, being the sponge, and soak up everything.
I think that's another regret.
Really?
Is that I don't think that I verbally said that we knew too much, but I wish we would have asked more questions or been around, like you said, had a mentor, but been around someone and ask questions on certain things, or not afraid to reach out and be like, hey, I have a couple things I want to ask you. You mind squeezing me in your schedule? Or like, you know, do you have any insight on this? You know what I'm saying?
Right.
Because I think that would have, I don't know, I just think that would have just helped, not even just career-wise, but just like all over.
Yeah, I think pride did play a little role in my life too.
No,
You know, because there was a lot of moments where I was trying to be impressive and not impactful.
Yes.
Or like, oh man, what was it? Bring it back to my thoughts. What was it? I was trying to be interesting and not be interested in what other people have going on. You know what I'm saying? Like it was such a thing where I felt like I had to put on. And I think a lot of our generation can really relate to that because there's so many different things. Like social media became a really big thing in our 20s. Like Instagram was going absolutely insane. And then we had all these other random social media apps that were popping up.
Yeah.
And at that moment, because it was so foreign to the world, we were trying to figure out how to utilize it. And all you saw were the highlights of people's life that they wanted for you to see. So you're already comparing your life to what they got going on. And behind their phone, they're dealing and struggling just like you.
Right.
So it was just a very interesting time that I feel like a lot of the millennials can definitely say that, man, I kind of felt the same way. And I hate to live a life with regrets, but I think it all boils down to what are you going to do next week? Or what are you going to do the next year? Or what are you going to do the next 10 years of your life?
Because I kind of felt bad thinking about those regrets, and I was like, dang, I should have known that longer. I mean, before, and now I lost all that time. Completely forgetting that, we say things like, you're 30. You're 28. But I'm only 28.
Yeah.
You're only 30.
Yes.
Opposed to thinking it like in that mind shift, okay, well, this whole new decade you have, the tomorrow that is literally in a couple of hours. What can you do now?
What can you do with
What
that?
do you want to do? Okay, well then, how you gonna do it? What's
Yeah.
the plan? Like, what's the strategy? I think that's the bad thing is that we always feel like we're running out of time,
Yeah.
and that everything has to be perfected, known right here and now. When there's nothing wrong with figuring it out. There's nothing wrong with starting today at whatever age that you are to there. Because then what happens, it's going to suck if I get to 38 and I'm like, dang, in my 30s, I should have. And it's like,
Right.
dang. Well,
Or if you found out when you're at the end of your 30s
Yeah.
that you made the same mistakes you did in your 20s.
because I kept saying, man, when my kids come up, I'm going to say this all to them. And I was thinking like, well, hold on.
Say it to yourself
Say
today.
it to myself. I'm 28. I
Yeah.
still have time. So I think the regrets have definitely been a mind shift. But at the same time, it's been really enlightening because I was like, man, I just feel like a light bulb went off. And now I have this slight fire up under me. It's really just curiosity for
Yeah.
me, at least. I'm just like curious and interested. Okay, well, what else could I do? What else is out there? What other opportunities could possibly come if I did this? What would it look like if I did this and this? What if I learned about this? What if I did this course? What if I listened to this person? So it's been it's been insightful. Like you were saying off air, the hindsight and insight. The hindsight of knowing what I could have known, but the insight to what I can do in the future has been very
Simply let
growing.
your regrets be your resets.
Yeah.
Literally.
Yeah.
Because if you just allow for the thing that you regretted be the fuel in your fire to say, okay, we're not going to do that again. Let's reset, regroup. Let's move into it. I think you're going to have a different outcome. And that's what you want, a positive, different outcome.
For sure. Listen, let us know on Instagram and all social media where you guys stand on this conversation. And while you think about that, we're going to play some music for you. Listen, here is Hologram by No Big Deal and Keto on the track. Keep it locked right here on You Already Know.
It's M&M Live Radio.
Kato got it jumping like a sonogram. Most these rappers fake, like Joanna Man.